Season 3, No More Nice. This episode is entitled, Kill Be Nice Before It Kills You. Sometimes growth doesn't feel peaceful at first. Sometimes it feels extremely uncomfortable because the version of you and I that survived one season of life may not be the version of you and I that can sustain the next. And so maybe healing isn't just about becoming more self-aware. Maybe it's also about becoming honest about what patterns, habits, emotional responses, and conditioned versions of ourselves can no longer go with us into the next chapter. Because some versions of us were built for survival. But this next season may require something completely different. Hey y'all, I'm Madison Samone Chase, also known as Miss Chase. I was raised by an incredible single mom who is my biggest fan, my BFF, my best friend, forever, for real. I am a celebrity certified personal trainer, a fitness and wellness expert, and a sports and entertainment media host. I was born in Fort Worth, Texas, raised in Dallas, Texas, built in Los Angeles, California. I trained at Juilliard with School of American Ballet in New York City, becoming the world's only 3-time ESPN Miss Fitness champion, appearing in more than 450 fitness DVDs and infomercials. The first of those 450 DVDs was led by celebrity trainer and the GOAT Gunnar Peterson, who's known for training the Kardashian family. Yes, the Kardashian family. And as a celebrity personal trainer myself, I had the pleasure of training Robert Pattinson of Twilight and Batman, Chris Tucker of Rush Hour, Amber Riley of Glee. As a sports and entertainment media host, some of my favorite red carpet moments include chatting with Richard Branson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Emma Stone, Viola Davis, Tyler Perry, Tiana Taylor, Issa Rae, Keke Palmer, and Justin Baldoni, to name a few. I share my accomplishments not to toot my own horn, but to honor the millions of sacrifices my mom planted in me so that I could blossom and flourish into the woman I am still becoming. So welcome to Cut to the Chase at 8, now C2TC8, H.E.R Circle. And what does H.E.R stand for? H.E.R stands for high-performing, empowered women and some men who are ready to thrive in our circle. And so I know high performing, often we think of the CEO, the executive, the woman in the business suit, but you could also be a mother, a single mother, a caretaker, an entrepreneur, an aspiring entrepreneur, working a 9-to-5, juggling 2 jobs, rebuilding quietly, or simply trying to hold yourself together while growing through life in real time. And this space, this circle is for you. So if you're listening and or watching, I want you to pull up a digital chair, grab yourself a cup of hot or cold herbal tea, and welcome to my cozy home of Cut to the Chase at 8. A 15-minute micro-learning moment for macro living transformations. And I am so overjoyed that you are here, because this is where we explore and lean into life with our lived experiences, yours and mine, where we invite lots of grace in this space because we are living in some really interesting times. We chat all about spirit, mind, and body health that is ultimately our wealth in micro doses for macro living. So make sure you join me twice daily for just 15 minutes at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, because this is your 15-minute chance for your daily pause, for a cause, clarity, wellness, grace, and intentional decision making. And giving yourself grace in this space, because how we start our day and how we end it matters. Each episode, my offer to you is 3 keys and 1 question to sit with. And hopefully encouraging you to give yourself, again, grace in whatever space you may be in, but something practical, something grounded, and something you can carry with you. So wherever you're listening from, I want you to turn it up and tune in. And if anything you hear today pricks your heart or lights a spark, I'd love for you to subscribe. Share this podcast with someone you care about. And please leave a 5-star rating and or leave a comment, and make sure you download your favorite episodes. Now let's take a breath together. We're going to inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's lean into today's episode of Cut to the Chase at 8, C2TC8, H.E.R circle. Let's cut the noise. Let's get clear. Let's get ready, set, and go and grow and be great. So the title for today's episode is Kill Being Nice Before It Kills You. You know, I've never been in a physical fight before. Not even one. Like, not even with my big sister, nor my little sister. Because I remember in 6th grade, there was a little girl who wanted to fight me because my mom got a new car. I'm like, how do you want to fight me? And my mom has the car. Like, this has nothing to do with me. I'm just riding in the car. And I remember thinking, like, this is the strangest thing. And I think it really set a precedent. I'm like, fighting is stupid. Like, it makes no sense. Like, I don't understand why people do it. Because it doesn't resolve anything. And so when you think about preparing to fight, like physically, I remember taking like a boxing class, and just the aggression that I got out of taking like a boxing class. I was like, I could do this. But I've never really been in a physical fight. But boxing makes me want to be a fighter, like the aggression of that, right? And maybe that's why this healing season has been so eye-opening for me, because I'm realizing some of the hardest fights we ever fight, they're not physical at all. They're emotional, they're spiritual, they're internal. And sometimes the battle we've been silently fighting our entire lives, it's within ourselves. Not the healed version of ourselves, not the aligned version, not the kind version, but the conditioned survival version of ourselves we learn to become in order to feel safe, accepted, liked, chosen, needed, or emotionally protected. And for many women, including myself, that survival version became the nice girl. And I know someone recently said to me, oh, you're so nice. And I was like, I kind of like, no, like that is something that I am working on. I don't want to be the nice girl. I'm the kind girl, but I don't want to be the nice girl or the nice lady, because I'm not a fan of the word girl. And I think one of the biggest lies many of us were taught growing up was that being nice and being kind, they were the same thing, but they're not. In fact, I think eventually in healing, they become polar opposites, or at least they have to be in order for us to get to this next chapter. Because niceness often says, keep the peace, don't disappoint people, stay emotionally accessible, overexplain yourself, make everybody comfortable, say yes, be agreeable, don't upset anyone. Even if it costs you your peace, your nervous system, your discernment, your honesty, your boundaries, or your emotional well-being. But kindness is different. Kindness tells the truth. Kindness practices discernment. Kindness honors peace. Kindness allows boundaries. Kindness says no when necessary. Kindness understands that protecting our emotional well-being is not cruel. And I think many women are emotionally exhausted because we've spent years practicing survival niceness while thinking and calling it kindness. And eventually our body starts carrying the cost. Our nervous system starts carrying the cost. Our peace starts carrying the cost, because niceness creates hypervigilance. We start overthinking, we start overexplaining, we start overfunctioning, we start over anticipating everybody else's emotions. We emotionally volunteer ourselves before people even ask. We feel guilty for resting. We feel guilty for disappointing people. We feel guilty for choosing ourselves. And after a while, our nervous system no longer knows the difference between love and emotional survival. And that is dangerous, because some of us become so emotionally accessible to everybody else that we become emotionally disconnected from ourselves. And honestly, that's part of what this healing season has become for me. And I am not doing it perfectly. And sometimes it's clunky and it's awkward and it's challenging. But it's being aware of those moments that I don't have it right and I'm still practicing on being kind versus being nice. And that awareness that I have to literally go to war with a conditioned, nice version of myself that believe abandoning myself was the price of being loved, accepted, emotionally safe, and emotionally chosen. And when I say war, I don't mean anger. I don't mean cruelty. I don't mean becoming cold. I mean intentional interruption. Because healing is not passive, it is action. Especially when we spend our whole lives being conditioned to survive through niceness. We almost have to retrain our nervous system to interrupt emotional patterns. We have to tolerate the discomfort, and we have to survive disappointing people. We have to allow silence. We have to stop emotionally rescuing everyone. We have to stop over-explaining every single boundary. And for many of us, that can feel terrifying because survival niceness once protected us. But eventually, what once protected us can begin destroying us. It can destroy our peace. And that's why the PPT audit matters so much. People, places, and things. Because if we're serious about our healing journey, we have to become honest about the who, the what, and the where that continues reinforcing survival niceness inside of us. And the PPT audit, the people. Who benefits from your over-accessibility? Who expects immediate responses, unlimited emotional labor, constant understanding, endless grace, and emotional availability, without accountability, without reciprocity, or without stewardship? Places. What environments reward you for suppressing discernment in order to remain accepted? What places make you feel like, oh, you have to shrink? You need to overperform, stay agreeable, or emotionally self-abandon just to belong? Things. What habits continue to reinforce that survival niceness, that over-explaining, that people-pleasing, that emotionally rescuing, that apologizing excessively, that immediately saying yes, that responding instantly, that anticipating everybody else's needs before your own? And this is where SAC becomes important, spontaneous assertive communication, because healing sometimes looks like pausing before responding, allowing silence, not emotionally volunteering yourself immediately, but asking, am I being kind or am I afraid? And honestly, that question alone can change our life. Because some of us are not operating from kindness at all. We're operating from fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being disliked, fear of being disappointing and disappointing people, fear of no longer being needed. And eventually we realize we cannot carry both approval and purpose into our next chapter. We can't, because purpose requires discernment. And discernment requires emotional honesty. And emotional honesty requires courage. And I think that's part of what is becoming the soulful H.E.R manifesto and what that means for me personally in this healing season. Not becoming perfect, not hard, but becoming willing to dismantle and go to war with the survival version of myself that no longer aligns with my peace, my purpose, my healing, my nervous system, my wellness, or my next chapter. Because healing sometimes requires fighting the version of yourself that once helped you survive. And maybe that's why this work feels so emotional. Because we're not just changing habits, we're grieving identities. Which brings me to the 3 keys. Key number 1, niceness often survives through fear, approval seeking, and emotional self-abandonment. Key number 2, kindness requires discernment, emotional courage, nervous system honesty, and intentional boundaries. Key number 3, healing sometimes requires fighting the survival version of ourselves that no longer aligns with our next chapter. The one reflection question: what version of yourself and myself are we still protecting? That healing journey is asking us to release. So what version of yourself are you still protecting that your healing journey is asking you to release? So before you go, I just want to say thank you from the bottom and the top of my heart. It truly has been an honor and a pleasure sharing this time with you. And thank you for continuing to give yourself grace in this space with me today. I am so genuinely thankful that you chose to step into this cozy digital home with me. So before you head out, let's quickly revisit our 3 keys and one reflection question from today's episode. Key number 1, niceness often survives through fear, approval seeking, and emotional self-abandonment. Key number 2, kindness requires our discernment, emotional courage, nervous system honesty, and intentional boundaries. Key number 3, healing sometimes requires fighting the survival version of yourself that no longer aligns with your next chapter. And our one question to sit with: what version of yourself and myself are we still protecting that our healing journey is asking and begging and pleading for us to release? So if today's episode offered you clarity, insight, or even a pause for a cause you didn't know you needed, if there's anything that I shared that pricked your heart or lit a spark, I'd love for you to subscribe, share this podcast with someone you care about, or leave a 5-star rating. It truly helps this space to grow and reach others who may need it. And please leave a comment so that this becomes a dialogue and not a monologue. And before we close, I want to extend a gentle invitation. If you've been listening, reflecting, and you feel moved to go beyond just listening and into a community, I'd love for you to consider becoming a part of the C2CT8 H.E.R Circle founding members. And this is a foundational community who want to build and grow and heal together intentionally, honestly, and hold each other accountable. And founding members will shape what this space becomes. And I'd be honored for you to be a part of that beginning. And so remember, 30 new episodes launch on the 15th of every month for 15 days with twice daily episodes at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central. So thank you for joining me here twice a day for our daily 15-minute microdose for macro living. Now let's close with one breath together. We're going to inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. and again at 8 p.m. Central. I am Madison Samone Chase, and this is Cut to the Chase at 8. C2TC8 H.E.R Circle, high-performing, empowered women and men who are ready to thrive. And we are ready, set to go and grow. Let's be clear and let's be great. Blessings to you and yours. Until tomorrow.